I checked my phone and she had called, and I called her, and nobody answered.
Fill me up till my cup.
Hi, welcome back to Her Story Untold Studios. I am your host, Tanir. I really just felt like because it's October and I'm already interviewing guests who has beaten cancer, still dealing with cancer, or lost somebody to cancer, I should share my story of grief after losing my grandmother to pancreatic cancer. I don't think I ever shared that story with anybody. You guys gonna hear it first. But before I get into that, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you got that notification bell lit up so you don't miss out on any other episodes I got dropping. I truly appreciate all the love and support. I see y'all, and I definitely appreciate y'all. But just to give a little background, growing up, I was super close to my grandmother. I called her Nana. We just had a really great relationship. I was always at her house, especially for the holidays, because she cooked a lot of food, okay? And and if I wasn't at her house, I was definitely on the phone with her for 2 or 3 hours. But growing up, I just felt like once she got sick, she didn't want to tell me directly she was diagnosed with cancer. I just felt like she didn't want me to be like worried, depressed, sad. And she wanted me to remember her how she was. So I really just thought like when she said she was sick, like she had a cold and in a couple weeks she'd get over it. But that wasn't the case at all. So these are a few little things that it just stuck with me growing up. It was just really hard for me to deal with losing her because I didn't find out that she passed away until about a year and a half after she passed away because my father, he doesn't deal with death really well. So it was hard for him to tell me. And I ended up finding out from my aunt later, and I was devastated for a long time. It still took a toll on me every now and then, but it wasn't as bad as it was as I heard the news. You know what I'm saying? I remember her telling me like she was losing weight. She would just say like, I used to wear a size 22. Now I'm a size 8. Like, and I'll just be like, what? Why are you losing weight like that? Because I didn't know. I was young. I really didn't know. And how she just changed, how her eating habits and everything changed. It went from the big meals. She used to cook really big meals on our holidays. I remember I would get up on Thanksgiving and Christmas and I'd be like, Auntie, you coming to get me to bring me to the Nana house, And I would go over there, eat first, pack like 3 plates. I'm not even kidding, y'all. Pack like 3 plates, come back home, because I gave my mother a plate, and then eat my mother food too, because my mother cooked a lot. Especially on the holidays, she cooked a lot. So I just remember things like that and the gems that she dropped on me that I applied to my life now as an adult. It was just this one particular thing that happened that took place and it still stick with me to this day, especially with me having to make choices, and learning. Well, I had to go through the healing part of my life where not to let my emotions take control of like my decisions, because that's the worst thing that you can do, right? React off emotion. It's just bad. Okay. So my grandmother at this point, she was living in a senior living community. And I remember she used to have family come see her all the time. The elderly in that community used to call the leasing office and complain about her. Like, we got too much family coming over there. They loud, this, that, and the third, whatever. And my grandmother was still like, be giving them pies, cookies, muffins, because my grandmother, she would bake too. So not only was she a really good cook, she was a really good baker, and that ended up being passed down to my aunt. But she was giving these people food and stuff that she still had in her house. Like, so my grandmother would give you the clothes off of her back. As soon as you walk in her house, she had like bowls of candy everywhere. She would like, eat what you want. It was like a kid's sanctuary, okay? We was in heaven over there because it was just like anything that you want, you can go and get it. And she would always say that. I'm not getting up to make you no plate. I cook the food. You can go in there and make your plate, you know. And she was the first person that introduced me to Klondike bars. I'll never forget that. But grandmother was a diabetic as well, so she had to have some sugar around every now and then, but it was too much candy. She'd be like, take it, you know. And I remember we were sitting on the front porch and we was just having a conversation, and she started telling me that the other women that lives in that community were complaining about her, and I was livid. Like, I mean, 14 years old, and I'm like, what? Like, first of all, I'm not going to put my hands on no elderly person. That's just crazy. But I was super protective of my nana, you know what I'm saying? She was the sweetest person ever. Anything you wanted, she had it, she giving it to you. She didn't care who you was. But at that point, when she told me that, I was so upset. And I was like, why would somebody want to do something like so negative to someone who does nothing but spread positivity, to someone that always like praying for you, making sure you good, anything that you want, she's bringing it to you. And I couldn't understand that at 14. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't understand that. I was just like, but why are you giving them stuff? Like, and I remember asking her that, and she was like, because if I start being the way that they are, they won. You know, if I start, you know, being negative and hateful and angry, I done turned into them. I'm no longer who I am. And that spoke volumes. Not at no 14, it didn't. Maybe when I was like 20, 21, okay? Because I still was like, I don't know why you baking them no cakes. Like, I'm not giving them nothing. But she definitely taught me that, you know, don't let nobody change you. Don't let nobody change you. Like, people could be hateful. They can say all these things about you. They can make all these accusations about you, whatever. Like, remain authentic because people gonna know who is who, right? And it makes so much sense now that I'm an adult. Trust me, it makes so much sense. So I just remember like things like that. And her death took like a toll on me because not only did I find out that she passed away a year and a half after she initially passed away due to my father not wanting to tell me because he knew how close I was with her. Like, and I told him all the time, like, I got that bragging right that I was the only grandchild that stayed the night at her house. Like anything I wanted, I was the most spoiled grandchild. You know what I'm saying? So nobody could tell me nothing about my nana. Like I'm coming for you if you dead. It was just a lot of valuable lessons I learned. And I think it was very hurtful for me once finding out she passed because I remember I was working a lot. My daughter was like fast forward. I'm grown. I had my daughter. My grandmother passed when my daughter was like 2. So I'm gonna say she passed in 2012, April of 2012. And I remember she was coming up to visit because her brother had passed away. And she called me and she said, I'm coming up, you know, because my brother passed away, yada yada, but I would like to see you. And, my great granddaughter, like I would like to see y'all, you know. And I was working, and at the time I'm working in a warehouse, so I had to have my phone on do not disturb, or it just was no service, one of the two. But I remember I created a whole photo album for her from the moment my daughter was born all the way up until she was 2 years old. I created a whole photo album and she was able to see that before she passed. When I came out on break, I checked my phone and she had called and I called her and nobody answered. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we just missed each other. And then she was going back. She had moved initially to South Carolina. So when she moved with my aunt down there, when she was living up north, her cancer had went away. This is from what I've been told from my aunt. Her cancer went away when she went back to when she decided to move to South Carolina with my aunt because my aunt wasn't going to leave without her. That was her caregiver. That was her person. So when she did move back to South Carolina, her cancer came back and it came back full force. And it was stage 4 by this time because it came back and it was pancreatic. And I remember I'm older now. So my grandma was sick for a long time. She got to live for a long time. She just was tired. She just kept saying like she didn't want to do chemotherapy no more. She was in a space where she was actually okay with telling me what was going on with her. She still was losing weight. I think by that time she was like a size 6. Yeah, she was like a size 6. And it was just so odd because I would try to call her and talk to her and I couldn't reach out to her at all. Like nobody was answering the phones, not even my aunt. So that whole year and a half passed and nobody told me. And it was just like, I don't know. I can't even explain to you how I felt for real. I just had that voice message for a long time on my phone before I changed numbers and all that stuff. I would replay it over and over and over again so I could hear her voice repeatedly. And I just said, if I would have answered that phone, if I wasn't working that day, I would have been able to talk to her or see her, or, my child would be able to see her grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of questions and things that went on in my head as, I was finding out the information about her passing. And I don't know. Even now, I keep her memory alive now. The pain's still there. It's not as bad as it was, but it's still there. I just keep her memory alive. I just remember all the talks. She's the first person who started talking to me about God and the Bible. She didn't push religion and all that on me. She was telling me things that's definitely happening right now, which is crazy. And she just always told me to like remain myself no matter what. Don't ever be around somebody or date somebody that make you want to be like the world. And that just stuck with me for real. Like, be your authentic self always. So even now, years later, I still think about it, of course. I still think about that voicemail of her saying she wanted to see me. I still talk to my father about it now because my father wants to tell me more things about her, like his experience living in her house and how she was and how she changed once, how she got her grandkids, her great grandkids and all that. And I was like, man, she wasn't treating me like that. Like my nana never used profanity around us, never. If she did, it was never around us. You know what I'm saying? She'll let you know, like she was very stern and she was definitely a stand-up woman for sure. Those are the things that I definitely dealt with. It took a toll on me because it was like from like 20, I was literally like, yo, I miss my nana. Like, especially when the holidays, it definitely hit hard for me because I really wanted to see her. I was used to going to see her all the time and then boom, I can't see her no more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's definitely my story of grief. I just feel like grief don't go away. It's just kind of like we learn how to deal with it. Some people learn how to deal with it, but it never goes away. It's like always something that's going to come up that's going to remind me of her. And I'm going to call my father and be like, hey, Dad, remember when da 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 da? And uh, he'll definitely bring up some memories about her and stuff, because he really missed her too. So I started visiting my aunt a lot. I still didn't feel real. And she showed me her room that she slept in and stuff like that. My nana was so clean and neat. Okay? So clean and neat. Like, I'm like, how do you make up a bed like that? Like, it was crazy. But these are the things that I cherish and I carry with me forever. Forever. Her memory will always, 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 always be with me. And I'll make sure it will be alive as long as I live. And I was gonna share my story of how I found out my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and how I lost my grandfather to colon cancer. But I'm gonna do those in a separate video because I don't want this video to be too long. Also, definitely have some things coming up, and you guys don't want to miss it. November is definitely gonna be a big one. Y'all haven't seen anything yet. I promise your girl has been working. Do you know how hard I've been working? You guys about to find out for real. But make sure you guys tap in. And I miss you. I miss you, Nana. I truly miss you. It's just, it's like you go from talking to somebody every single day and then you don't talk to them no more. And you got to be able to like grasp that. I don't think I would ever grasp that. It would never be the same. It would never be the same. Family gatherings, people don't even do reunions no more. So, but yeah, I would keep her memory alive. And we'll be dropping another interview this week. I'm gonna try to drop two. So stay tuned for that. Wait, out.